What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, freaks and geeks of all ages? Welcome back to UVMTV's Nerds of the Round Table. I'm your host, David.
I'm Luke.
I am Noah.
And I'm Gina.
And this is the show where the four of us basically just sit around a table, mutter a little bit, and then we talk about nerdy stuff. That can range from anything from comics to movies to video games. Well, you know what? Well, I mean,
David, where is your sense of
I'm tired.
showmanship?
It is 6:30 at the end of the week.
All right,
I am
it's Gina's
tired.
topic.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
We're gonna talk. Gina's gonna tell us something that we should talk about. Gina, what do you want to talk about?
I think we are going to talk about, because that's how the show works and I decided it, we're going to talk about video game soundtracks.
Woo! Oh, watch out for the table. Look, buddy.
I'm so glad
Watch
I
out
can
for the
inspire these
table.
actions with you guys. So, I am a fanatic about video game soundtracks.
As you should be.
As I should be.
They're great.
There are so many good ones. Recently, I've been listening to a lot of Transistor and Bastion by the same studio. They have
okay.
amazing soundtracks.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the game The Yogg, but
Yes,
it's like
The
they're like
OG.
the Yogg.
The
Oh,
Yogg.
the
Yogg,
Yogg. I
as
heard
in
the Og, and I'm
Y-O-G.
like, the
The Yogg.
OG?
The Yogg.
Like-
It's an awesome game, and there are only like 5 songs on the soundtrack, but they're so good. And so I want to talk about first of all what your favorite gaming soundtracks might be, and then just kind of fangirl over them perpetually.
Okay. I did come with a list
Damn.
because
Prepared.
I prepare about this.
What a boy.
I did not
Prepare
prepare.
about this, or you
What?
care about
I did
this?
prepare with this.
Use your grammar.
I didn't prepare for you having such a mouth today, though. That's the one thing I didn't prepare
I've
for.
always got enough.
So one that is always
one
stuck
of
out
my
to me.
favorite anatomical features.
One that is currently one of my favorite is the Shovel Knight soundtrack. I don't know if you guys have played Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
That's Shovel Knight.
Shovel
Like-
Knight, yes.
It's actually really
How have you
good.
not heard about
Shovel
that?
Knight.
He's on. This is Shovel Knight.
Oh,
This is Shovel Knight.
Okay, to be fair, I only know about Shovel Knight because of Griffin's Amiibo Corner, which is a YouTube series. So
Have you guys really never played
Wait,
Shovel Knight?
that
Dude,
sounds
it-
awesome.
it's
Tell
like
me
the,
more
it was
about
like the
that
indie.
later.
It was like the indie game of 2014. Shovel Knight has a great 8-bit
I don't
soundtrack.
really. I mean, video games isn't my sector of nerddom.
I don't know
okay?
why.
You know, we've established this.
All right, I'm,
well
so, I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Noah and I are on opposite sides of the
Yeah.
table because we are the opposite sides of the nerdom.
We all have our own sectors, and we all cover each base.
Okay, I understand. All right,
okay?
now, all right, shut up. I'm gonna talk about the
Let me be
soundtrack.
me.
Talk about the soundtrack.
The soundtrack is really great. It's a great 8-bit soundtrack. It's got a lot of dynamic themes, and
I love 8-bit music.
yeah, the game is structured very similarly to Mega Man, where you fight different themed bosses at the end of each stage, right? So each sort of like stage music and then boss stage music is themed appropriately. Something will sound a little bit more aquatic if you go against Treasure Knight is his name. Something will have a little bit more pep to it if you go up against Mole Knight because he's in a fiery cavern.
That's
Well, oh,
awesome.
what's
It
up?
sounds
What's
really
up?
Cool.
What exactly does it mean for something to sound aquatic?
Well, you know, it's got, you know
in
how something like
Mario, when like there are underwater levels
The-
versus.
Okay.
No,
it
you
very
know what,
much.
I
It very much.
just used the video game.
I mean, it is a little hard. It is a little hard to describe. You got a good point. I guess the way I would describe it is it's got.
For the audience.
It totally sets the tone that sort of like envelops you in an underwater
you feel like
location.
you're
So like a
drowning.
fluid.
Yeah.
Sort of,
like you're
sort of,
drowning.
sort of
Or like
floaty.
bubbly.
Yeah.
Panic really.
Yeah, bubbly is another word for it. Yeah, like
Okay.
I know what you mean. There's like games like that, and also like the Mother series, like Mother 3 and Earthbound,
Never played one, but okay.
have.
That
I
sounds
had
like
started
it's
playing
something
Earthbound
I've
because
heard.
I'm like a fan of the series, but I never played it. I was not that into it. But
It's very hard to get into, actually.
you have to grind so much. I'm just not. Anyway.
Yeah.
You have
but-
to what so much?
Grind, level up.
Oh.
But
It's more video games.
those are other games that have kind of 8-bit soundtracks and are like renowned for having
Very
amazing music.
Clear and,
Yeah,
Uh,
it's really cool.
nomenclature.
So I mean, yeah, again, freaking Shovel Knight is one of my favorite ones. Another one of mine, Skyrim. Clearly, it's got some
Yeah.
really great orchestral music, and that choir that they have in those themes, really. I think choir music and like chanting music when it can be really powerful. You know how they're always used in like some of the best
Yeah.
shot and best
the
Oscar
really
Oscar quality.
dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot
They're,
of,
they're
like,
not
Lord of the
enough in
Rings.
video games. The only two I can really think of is Skyrim and Halo, which Halo.
Another
Great
a good
series,
one.
another great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even though Halo is technically like a futuristic
Yeah.
military space shooter, it treats itself more like sort of like a sci-fi adventure
Yeah.
sort of soundtrack.
Yeah.
And like I know it's kind of a weird distinction, and you might not be able to think of it immediately. But you can, if you were to just hear the music, you would think, oh, I'm on a little bit of a, I'm on a bit of an adventure, a sci-fi sort of beat the bad guy. And in a military movie or in a military video game, you can kind of hear it's much more because military will have the what's it called, the snare drum, or something like that. Exactly.
You got a
Like
stronger
in Call of
percussion.
Duty. Call of Duty music is fine for what it is, but I think Halo becomes more memorable because of its music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Music just
Yes.
Luke, yes, I'm sorry.
It's all good. I really like all soundtracks, really, but the one that, I mean, there's some bad ones, but me, I'm not like one of those like full soundtrack, like listen to it generally. Like I'll appreciate a good piece of music here and there in a video game. My favorite though has to be from this indie produced game, Starbound, which.
You love that, don't you?
Yeah, I bring it up a lot. Anyway, but it's like, essentially, if you don't know what it is, it's essentially Terraria, but in a space setting, and it's got a couple other distinctions. But that's like the easiest way I can simplify. And the way they tackle that with the music is they take more of like an empty space feel, but it's also got like a twinge of hope in it, because the whole thing's like you're adventuring and exploring space. So it's like, it's like you're alone in the universe and it's yours to explore.
Yeah.
So it's a weird contrast, but it's absolutely beautiful. I recommend anyone just YouTube the main theme. Actually, we can put it in the link of this video. I'll make sure that happens. And just be taken away. It's beautiful.
I think music has such a powerful emotional effect regardless of the medium. I mean, even just by itself, it has such a powerful emotional effect. They've done studies, it's a universal sort of effect. They've done studies where they've taken random samplings of people and even done it with isolated tribes in Africa and played them a soundtrack and asked them to select what sort of emotions that clip or soundtrack actually like conveys. And each and every time it's the same thing regardless of where they taken the sample, what cultures. So music is just one of those universal constants of emotional expression, and it's such a powerful
It's so
emotional
it's so
expression.
cool, and especially because video games are incredible for, like, in my opinion, a lot of reasons. But one of them is that they are kind of the epitome. You bring in all these different like artistic, like all of the arts come together in video games. You have storytelling, you have visual art, you have soundtracks, so you have music, and it all comes together. And when you put it together well, it's really powerful. Like Transistor, one of the games I mentioned, the soundtrack, it's like one of the ones that it is really worth listening to, because it's a big part of like the story of the game. Like the main character is a singer, but her voice was stolen, which you learn throughout the story why that happened. But
So they incorporate.
yeah, and throughout the game, there are times where you hear one of her songs, and she's not singing it, but you hear one of her songs, and they record a separate one where she hums them because she can't sing it anymore, but she hums it, and the songs are so good, and the songs themselves, like the lyrics of them, are like kind of spoilery for the game, which is really cool. And they're just so haunting, and it's like this kind of techno ethereal fantasy type thing. It's amazing.
I just on that note about music sort of playing into the game, I think it becomes more memorable as that happens, because even, I mean, there are certain games and game franchises where music sticks with you because of sort of how you, I guess, sort of digested it as a kid, like the Mario theme, for example. Everybody plays that first stage, so you sort of know. Yeah, okay. I was thinking of the Mario 3 music, and I don't know why.
That's another good one.
but,
more people recognize it.
But I mean, like the Halo soundtrack, it's great when you're in the moment. But honestly, I can only think of the main Gregorian choir chant at the very moment. There are games that employ music in a much more direct way. I know, for example, like what's the game that I'm thinking of? Amplitude, for example, is a game that really, and it's one of those like sort of music time based where you got to hit the prompts on the exact right moment
those
in
are
order to
fun
progress.
too.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah,
There's another indie game called Crypto the Necrodancer, which I'm not good at all. But it's sort of like a dungeon crawler DDR type game. So you move to the beat of the song in order to be able to progress effectively, and you get bonus points if you move to the correct beat. So I think that's a game that uses music effectively, and it's got a great score anyway.
But it also allows you to get a better experience in gaming, because the point of video games, as I understand it, is to get into the shoes and feel from the perspective of the protagonist or the player. And the music allows you to sort of match and feel your emotions to the emotions that the protagonist is feeling. So it gives you a more whole, all-encompassing, more immersive experience with the video game.
Because video games, their entire purpose is to be immersive. Yeah. So you know a video game's doing it well, like Halo, it has a great soundtrack. And you know the Gregorian chant because that's like during the loading screens, right? That's why you know it. Yep. But the fact that you can't like distinguish the other ones isn't necessarily a bad thing because it means that it's just incorporating it during gameplay and like immersing you, which is really cool.
And you definitely
Halo's
have
cool,
more
like that.
standout tracks and more like atmospheric ones, which both are good. Another thing I forgot to mention though, I can't believe I almost forgot for favorite soundtracks, freaking Sonic the Hedgehog, man.
Follow me, set me free.
Dude,
You know, on that note,
say
though,
what you will of Sonic, those games have good music like 9 out of 10 times.
all right.
F you haters.
All right.
Any
On that
Sonic
note, we're going to
soundtrack.
call this an episode. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, freaks and geeks of all ages, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of UVMTV's Nerds of the Round Table. If you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on social media at UVMTV Nerds on both Instagram and Twitter. Share the video with your friends. We're always looking to expand the audience a little bit. And Noah, say your thing.
As you know, you
Just
can
say
do a
it,
better
dude.
segue.
Just say it. I don't care. I'm not going to make you a good segue.
As always, feel free to hit us up on social media or leave a comment or get in contact with us for any suggestions for future episodes. We are always happy to hash out whatever you throw our way.
And with that being said, thank you so much for joining us on UVMTV's Nerds of the Round Table. I've been David.
I've been Luke.
I've been Noah.
And I've been Gina.
And this has been UVMTV's Nerds of the Round Table. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, live long and prosper.
Bye.
I don't know what to do.